We want to get straight to our team coverage tonight. Bill and Ellen will break down what happened this evening in just a moment. But we do want to start live in the damage zone. And 24-hour News 8's Evan Dean is live near Freeport. Evan.
Brian and Marley, good evening. May be hard to believe, but it is calm as can be out here right now. No rain, no wind. This just 2 hours after this strong storm swept through. Now what's replacing the noise of rain, the noise of the wind, is the sound of chainsaws. That's filling in the air. If you want to take a look behind me, you can see there are several emergency crews. They are on scene here working to clear debris from the road. This is 92nd Street, just east of Alden Nash in the southeast most point of Kent County. We encountered a whole lot of damage when we got out here a little more than an hour ago. Debris everywhere, large trees blocking entire roadways, even some siding hung up in the trees. We believe that siding is from the roof of Roger and Chris Blau's barn. They live just down the road from where we're at here. They actually gave us a tour of the damage on their property, and there was plenty of it. That roof peeled off, trees peeled up out of the ground, a children's playhouse knocked over, and much more. Now, they say the warning, they didn't get the tornado warning until after the storm actually swept through, and that when it did actually sweep through, it didn't even feel like much from inside their home. It was when they stepped outside and saw all of the damage that they realized just how severe this all was. What did it feel like in the house when this came through?
It didn't feel anything. You just could tell there was the intense wind. You could feel it going across the porch, the back porch, and you couldn't see. It was like white from all the water, like whitewash.
Is the damage worse than you thought it'd be? Because you said you didn't hear much.
Yeah. Oh, it's way worse. I couldn't believe when I came out. That's when I got concerned, not so much concerned for our safety, but I started shaking then thinking what could have happened. It could have been worse.
I think a couple $100,000.
Worth of damage?
Yeah. Time we get this mess cleaned up and if they'll rebuild our barn or not.
And you heard her say it there. It could have been worse, that's for sure. They're optimistic and they're feeling grateful because their home was untouched somehow. Their garage was untouched, and most of all, they are okay. And that's the good news. So far, we haven't gotten any reports of injuries whatsoever in the wake of this storm. Now, it will be interesting to see what we can take in and what this looks like tomorrow during the day. Of course, it's tough to really see all of the damage at nighttime. If you can see over my shoulder just a bit, there are several large trees blocking this driveway. This is actually leading up to a campground and the Tyler Creek golf course. We've seen what happens at golf courses when these storms sweep through, and you'd hope the damage wouldn't be too severe, but it's really hard to tell. I do want to walk quickly back over here if we can. Again, this is 92nd. There were 3 or 4 trees partially blocking the road when we drove through. We were able to make it through, but we had to navigate around some trees. They're going to be working throughout the night to clear this. And a couple of quick reminders for you. We did see some power lines that were toppled over due to trees that had fallen on them. If you see any of those, do not go anywhere near a downed power line. You never know if it's live or not, and you just want to be safe if you do have to go out at all the rest of the night. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Just a mess out there, Evan. I'm sure the morning light will reveal a lot more. Thank you for that live report.
And Bill and Ellen were on the air tracking this rotation even before the tornado warning was issued. Ellen here now to analyze some new video in tonight. Ellen.
So, Brian, we just saw this video, and it's very difficult to say definitively that this is the actual funnel cloud that produced the tornado, but there are a few things that support the case that this is video of the storm that produced the tornado near Freeport. And one of the biggest indications is you can see that clear-cut line pushing on down in the sky, occasionally illuminated by some of that lightning. And usually when we have storms that produce tornadoes, what you have is this updraft and this downdraft that are so close together that it helps to ingest some of that water vapor and bring down the level of the cloud just closer to the ground. The fact that that happens usually allows for that rotation to spin down a little bit better than anywhere else or any other portion of the storm. So this was actually taken in Middleville, looking northeast towards Freeport. So there's a good chance that this is the storm, and you're actually seeing the portion of the storm that produced that funnel cloud that produced that damage. So impressive video here. Is very dark, very difficult to see, but that clear-cut line again is one of the things that I think supports this cause, that this is actually the storm that produced the damage. Impressive find there. I want to show you the damage path. And one of the ways that we look at this damage path is by looking at velocity on radar, because it cuts through a lot of the busyness on radar and just shows you what the winds are doing. 8:24, we saw that rotation develop. By the time we got to 8:39, that's when we saw that strongest rotation, and that was just on the northwest side of Freeport. By 8:46, once it got closer to Campbell, the circulation had completely dissipated. So at that point in time, the tornado was done. It's one of these quick spin-ups that can produce damage that we frequently see here in West Michigan. So I just want to show you how this unfolded on Storm Track Live. A lot of busyness on our velocity or on our wind data, but it's once we got to around 8:30 that we started to see it come together at that leading edge of the storm between Windgeier and Freeport Avenue, and that's when we actually picked up that rotation. So I've got Bill running the radar for me, and it was right about here that we saw the rotation produced and roll on through. Luckily, we're starting to see the storm intensity die down. Bill's going to be back in just a bit to talk more about the flooding.
Ellen, thank you. This is a system, as Ellen mentioned, that dumped a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And take a look at this video of flooding on Market Avenue Southwest. This is southwest of Wealthy in Grand Rapids. Cars were getting stuck in the flash flooding, and they stalled out. Tow trucks were called to the scene and had to pull them out to safety.